Doug. Marty.
Dustin Johnson is joining us now at the 105th PGA Championship, and he will be playing in his 14th PGA Championship this week. Dustin, you're certainly playing well coming into the second major of the year. How do you feel about your game?
Yeah, I think the game's in good form. I had obviously a good week last week, but just it's much better. Obviously, my last couple events has kind of been trending in the right direction, and then did everything really nicely last week. So had a couple good practice days here. Really looking forward to the test that this golf course is going to provide this week. You want every part of your game working well playing this golf course and the conditions that it's in right now.
That's great. Thank you. We'll open it up for questions, starting with Doug.
What took you so long to play good? Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks. I was ready at the start of the season. Going in, I was going out to play Saudi International, and I tweaked my back right before that, and it just, so I didn't hit balls for a few weeks, and until right before I went and played Mexico. So it's just taken me a while to get back, get the patterns back right, and just get my body moving and develop some bad habits. And it's just golf. Things happen, but swinging well, feeling good, got confidence. That's always helpful coming into a major.
What'd you do to your back? What is
I just pulled a muscle, lower back.
Swinging a club or lifting up a kid?
Yeah, lifting up a kid, just a bigger kid.
Microphone 5.
I'm done.
I don't know how to. Hi, Dustin. I don't know how to follow that up, but just looking at Jason Day won last week, and when him was him winning, can you recall, when he was on top of his game and what that looked like, and just can you reflect back?
I've played a lot of golf with Jason. Starting with amateur, and then obviously, and then when he was on tour, and obviously, well, it's 5 or 6 years ago when he was really on top of his game. He was one of the best players in the world. So, it's good to see him back in good form and playing some good golf.
Would it surprise you to say that he thought his career might be over 2 years ago, and just what that means?
I have no idea what he was thinking, but obviously you might, or whatever he's told you. But would it surprise me? Probably not really.
Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, Dustin, we had Zach in here right before you, and we're talking about, obviously, the LIV guys and their potential for being on the Ryder Cup team. The first question is do you have an interest of being on the Ryder Cup team? And then the second question is what do you think the likelihood is that you'd get picked?
I have no idea about getting picked. Obviously, if I could continue to play really well for the rest of the year, then obviously there's a chance. And yes, I would definitely like to play in the Ryder Cup. It's one of my favorite events to play in, and especially after the last Ryder Cup, obviously had a pretty good week, and it's an awesome event, and I'd love to be a part of it.
Since you're obviously not out here, do you feel like you might have to do something different in regards to talking to him more, lobbying yourself, because he doesn't really know much about what you guys do out there?
No, I've known Zach for a long time, so I'm sure he's keeping an eye on things, and you just never know. Obviously, play well in the majors, the next 3 majors, and just play some good, solid, consistent golf from here on out the rest of the year. Who knows what will happen?
Mike 12.
Hey, DJ. Going into Augusta, there was a lot of talk, and Brooks especially vocal about showing everybody that you guys are still the amazing golfers you are and continue to be. With the performance of the Live League group at Augusta, has that burden kind of been shelved, or do you still feel additional pressure, to represent?
I mean, I think I've proven myself out here for a long enough time where I don't, to me, there is no, I don't need to keep proving myself. I already have for many years. So as all the other guys, it's just where we play at. It doesn't change the style of golfer we are.
Thank you.
Jeff on 8.
Dustin, you said all parts of your game need to be on to do well this week. What do you see as the biggest ask of this golf course? What's the biggest thing it asks you?
I mean, well, first you got to drive in the fairway, and then, but you're not done after that because it's, depending on the hole, you can get some shorter irons in your hands on some of the holes, but the par threes are super difficult, long, not very easy to hit the green, especially with the wind direction that was blowing the last couple days. I think depending on which way the wind blows, obviously it changes how tough they play. But, I mean, even the shorter ones are, with the wind direction that was blowing the last 2 days were, difficult shots. Three's the tough one. 11's tough. I mean, they're all tough. You just got to hit quality golf shots.
What's the biggest challenge at 3? Just the size of that green?
Hitting the green.
Yeah. What are you hitting there? What are you?
I mean, yesterday I hit 7 wood, and it pitched on the green, and it didn't stay on the green, but it landed on it.
I was going to ask the same thing, but what did you hit out of the rough at all yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the hole. I think they've done a really good job with, the longer holes. You can, if you get a halfway decent lie, you can kind of chase it up around the green. The shorter holes, it's, the rough's a little thicker and maybe a little bit deeper, but, you can still hack something out. I mean, you're not hitting it very far, but you can get it up around the front. And most of the holes out here, you can run it up on the green. So, but you still controlling it coming out of the rough is the hard part.
And then, I really hate asking you questions that require you to use your memory, but do you remember anything about 13 when you played here?
I mean, I remember
course?
I remember the golf course. I mean, obviously they changed 3, 5, and 6, so I don't remember those holes. But the rest of the golf course, I remember. I mean, it was obviously completely different conditions when we played. And 13, it was a lot softer. Fairways were easier to hit, greens were easier to hold. So played a lot different. I mean, I still remember, the rough was still deep, so you still needed to drive it in the fairway if you wanted to shoot some good scores.
Are you the kind of guy that when you drive into the club and kind of see sections of the course, it all just kind of lays out in front of you, or do you go blank on that?
Before I got here, I couldn't have told you what one hole looked like. But then once I get out on the golf course, I remember them when I get out on the holes.
Let's go to 19 and 11 next, please.
Dustin, a win is a win no matter where it comes from. Do you take the same amount of confidence out of a win last week as you would have any other place?
Yeah, absolutely. Still playing against, unbelievably good golfers. And, to be honest, the scores the last few tournaments we've played are a lot lower than I thought they would be. So, you got to play well every single day if you want a chance to win. And, yeah, I mean, like I said, the game last week, a lot of really good things. Played really solid all 3 days and, doing everything well, driving it well, controlling the distance with the irons, starting to wedge it a lot better, and then, rolled in a few putts. So, it's definitely nice, coming off a win, coming into this championship, and, especially to this golf course.
Hey, DJ. Rory said it's going to take discipline to win out here. What's your approach, and given your game, where do you see any specific holes where there would be risk and reward?
I mean, not real sure, because most of the holes are pretty much right in front of you. There's not really anything that you can, I guess there's a few holes where you might could, take a driver and try to get it down there a little bit further. But a lot of the holes kind of force you to hit it to a certain spot and then, kind of go from there. But, the longer holes just, got to make sure you hit the fairway on those and, obviously the short ones too. But, I've played the back nine Monday and then played the front nine yesterday. But yeah, it's not a whole lot of, because you can't really reach, was it 13? I don't think anybody's going to be knocking on there unless, if it gets downwind and you hit one right just short of the creek, which would be tough to do. You might have a go, but, and then depending on the wind direction, a lot of guys can reach 4. But other than that, I don't think there's not really a whole lot of places where you can try to cut corners or push it up close to the green.
Alan on one.
Hey, Dustin, we're 1 year into the live era. What do you think the professional game is going to look like a few years from now?
I don't know. I can't predict the future, so not real sure.
Do you see any way back to sort of reunify things, or are you both going to go down your own road?
I would hope at some point we can all coexist and work together. It'd be nice.
Back to 11.
DJ, I'm just curious, how's the travel and the difference in time zones affected you in terms of playing on LIV?
To be honest, it really hasn't. A little more travel, but I've played kind of all over the world my whole career, so used to traveling. Whether a flight's 5 hours or 8 hours doesn't really make a difference.
Great. I think that'll do it. Thanks for your time.